Hi, how are you? This is Sandstorm here, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4. This is the third episode in the first part of the three-part series on each major monarchist power in Europe. As you can probably tell, this first one is on the German Empire, and we've used some extremely game-breaking exploits to make the German Empire this large by 1941. If you missed the last two episodes, there will be a link in the description, and there will be a card redirecting you to the playlist of the German Empire. So, now for our last exploit in the last episode. You may notice there is one dominant faction that dares to oppose us. This is the Greater East Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere, and their faction is quite formidable at this moment. They do own most of China, and they're led by Japan, who owns quite a bit of land, and their army is not that large, but they have a lot of resources and are quite powerful. If you do fight over in Asia, the supply can also get a bit low for your army to function correctly, even with only 20 combat with divisions, which is what we have. So, in the last episode, we got military access to Japan. We also got a non-aggression pact, and if we try to cancel it, it says it will only be canceled on the 24th of August, which is a few months from now, which is enough time for us to execute our next exploit. What we're going to do is do the Order 66 of mainland Japan, in which we garrison their territory with all of our divisions that we had fighting the Soviet Union in the last episode. As you can see, they will not be needed anymore, because the Soviet Union is now completely under our control as the German Empire. And just to make sure that we have completely recreated the German Empire, we're going to get some war goals on Luxembourg and also on Denmark, because I believe the German Empire did historically encompass some part of Luxembourg and some part of lower Denmark. So what I'm going to do is get this first army on the Luxembourg border, have them attack straight into Luxembourg when ready, and the second army attack straight into Denmark. Other than that, let's just wait for our troops to get in position. Alright, we just completed a national focus. I think our next one is going to be Army Innovations 2. Also, I think it is time we start annexing some of our puppets, as we have quite a few. Then we have 5 right now. We have the German East Indies, German Malaya, German Raj, Independent Philippines, and the province of Canada. The first one that we're going to annex is the province of Canada, so let's check how much point value they have. They have 500 points. Start Lend-Lease, make sure that this number gets up to 500. I think 720 is the perfect amount, 504. And in a month, we will be able to make them a further integrated puppet. Canada is now ready to be integrated, and they have 875 points. Let's scroll back over to Canada. British North America. I did not know that their name changes. Why is it called British North America when it's owned by Germany? This is quite confusing, but anyway, we're going to annex them, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's start a Lend-Lease. How about 1300? Generous Lend-Lease will do. Alright, we can tell it's the 24th of August because Japan has just canceled their non-aggression pact with us, and we can see that's because they have a war goal on us. I believe they got it through their focus to strike south. They got a war goal on the German East Indies, German Malaya, and the independent Philippines. Although they are far from independent, they are going to automatically use their war goal on us soon because they see that we have no one on their border here and no one here either. Basically everywhere we border them, our borders are clear, so that's going to empower them to declare war. Let's see, there we go. They just declared war on the Republic of Malaysia, and our troops have now taken territory in the Japanese mainland. Let's just set up some manual orders to manually walk into these high value victory points. Now the next thing we have to do is declare war on every single one of Japan's puppets, because for some reason this gets them in the peace conference. Let's declare war on Xinjiang, reorganized government of China, and finally the Yunnan Free Empire. You can check if you've got all the puppets by right-clicking on your country, seeing who you're at war with, then hitting F10 to see the Japanese faction. And I think we've gotten everyone. You can also check to see who you have war goals on. 7 countries, and then to see who Japan's allied to. Japan is allied to 6 countries. Japan being the 7th country in their faction. So let's just unpause and watch. And they just capitulated. Meaning that we're going to get a peace conference shortly. There we go. We also got army innovations too. Let's pass a few times. Sometimes this peace conference is delayed because there's an odd bug. This is a quite strange peace conference. I'm not sure why this works actually, because I think the reorganized government of China is a major, but they're also a puppet of Japan, so the peace conference doesn't exactly know what to do. Let's start by taking all states from Japan. We could puppet them for a navy, but there's really no other navy in the world, and we already have about 700 ships. Let's end the turn, and now we can satellite everyone. This wouldn't usually be available if you weren't at war with everyone for some unknown reason. I guess that's just how it works. But you must trust in the exploit. And instead of having to go invade all these countries, we can just diplomatically annex them. We're now done at the peace conference. Now this can work as preferably a fascist nation, although we weren't fascist, because then I don't think you even have to be at war with China to get military access through Japan. But you need to make sure that Japan is finished with China, because if you're going to be taking over this part of the world, you have to take over Japan, and then you'll have to take over China. And there are no good exploits that I have created or found out about that make taking over China easy, because their surrender limit is extremely low. You have to take 95% of Chinese victory points to make them capitulate, and since they're the major in their faction, then you have to capitulate China. But you can also just let Japan do most of the work for you, and if you need to, come in at the end and declare war on Xinjiang and create a backdoor into China after you're done with the Soviet Union. But anyway, that's the last major exploit I know that I want to showcase in this episode. So let's just, for the end of this episode, do a little bit of cleaning up, polishing off the last few countries in Europe. And obviously we'll be annexing the rest of our puppets to try and get rid of as much border grow as we can. This could very easily become a world conquest, but world conquests to me aren't really fun after you've taken out all the majors, unless you're a fascist power, because then you can just get at war with a major and get really quick war goal justifications. But the base value for a non-fascist power, even at 100% world tension, is like 125 days per justification, which is way too long to be sitting there, especially to go through all of Latin America. So we'll just stick to Europe basically for now. Let's bring the rest of our army over and set them on the Swiss border, as we're going to be invading Switzerland soon. Also, it looks like British North America, formerly Canada, is ready to be annexed. And there we are. We now have 5,000 convoys, so we can do, I think, 3 nations at a time over in China. Let's send some convoys over to the state of Xinjiang. I always send convoys because convoys are the quickest and most efficient way to annex your puppets in Hearts of Iron 4, because infantry equipment you need loads of to get the same result. And convoys are just quite easy to produce as well. And I accidentally created a collaboration government. German Togo. Those collaboration pop-ups come up so often when I'm trying to do anything. I might have accidentally hit to create a collaboration government. I'm not sure if I don't have enough compliance in certain regions, but I always get the inquiry to create a collaboration government in random parts all around, and since we own most of Africa, it comes up a lot. Yeah, there it is, German Togo. We'll have to annex them as well. But let's start with annexing the state of Xinjiang. Start a lend-lease, send them the usual 720 convoys. We'll do China. Send them 720 convoys. And I think we'll do Yunnan. Start the lend-lease of 720 convoys. We also have a national focus available. See, look, here's the provisional government thing. And if you click the top option, it just straight up releases somebody. So, our next national focus is going to be air innovations. Our war goal justification is complete on Luxembourg. Let's immediately declare war. There's no reason not to. They're not going to join a faction. And they have no divisions. And there we go. Luxembourg has capitulated. Here we go. Look at that. All the provisional government messages. After reading the message, I think our compliance is actually too high. Anyway, Luxembourg has capitulated. Let's end the turn. And there we go. They've been reintegrated into the empire. Let's send our Luxembourg invasion force. Oh, and Schlieffen once more just got bypassed. Which I think means we can do the final German Empire focus. Reinstate imperial possessions. That'll be our next national focus. But for now, let's just reset our front line up here. And we'll attack over this way with the Second Army. Also, our next war goal justification is going to be a justification on Switzerland. We are ready to begin integration in China, state of Xinjiang, and Yunnan. Now they all have about 1,000 points left on the spectrum, so I'm not sure if we have enough convoys to send them all to all three of them at once. Let's send 1450 convoys to state of Xinjiang, and we'll do the same with China. Send 1450 convoys. I believe we get them all back once we annex them, and we don't have enough to do this in all three at once. But once we get them back, we'll have plenty of convoys, and we'll be able to start on other people like Shanxi and Menjiang and Qing China. We have completed our national focus air innovations. We've also completed our justification on Denmark, but we can go get reinstate imperial possessions, which is the last useful German Empire focus. These ones don't do anything anymore since Italy and Austria-Hungary don't exist. And this creates a pact against the Comintern, which is Tanituva in Mongolia, and gives us a war goal against countries that don't exist. So, let's begin our invasion of Denmark. Declare war right now. And where are our planes? They're over here. Let's bring them back over to Germany proper and set them out to northwest Germany. We'll do Ireland next. And for now, we'll just roll into Denmark. Now it's easier to fight Denmark when they don't join a faction, because they don't spawn Iceland. If you like spawning Iceland, then go right ahead, be my guest. Fight Denmark while you're in a faction. But we can just take all states from them, including Iceland and Denmark, along with Denmark proper. Let's end the turn and we're done. Great, let's get our armies over to the Irish border. I'm not sure if we're actually going to have enough supply in Northern Ireland, but it doesn't much matter. Even though our border with Ireland is only 5 tiles long, I think the Irish only have 3 divisions they're willing to put on the front line usually. We'll see when we show up though. Our justification on Ireland is complete, which means it's time for another war goal, which will be on Sweden. We don't have enough political power, so let's declare war on Ireland first. And when we're finished, we'll try and justify another war goal. And there we go, Ireland has been defeated. Let's annex all of their territory. Now let's set this army group to the Swedish border right here. And is it time to justify a war goal on Sweden yet? Yes, it is. Perfect. That's going to take 200 days. Let's set our offensive line into Sweden. And then we'll attack from the Finnish border in the north once we annex Finland. Our justification on Finland is complete and it's time to annex. Let's see, who shall we annex? We shall annex China. And let's start another batch of Lend-Leases off, because we now have 5,000 convoys again. Start a Lend-Lease to Shanxi. I think they have 500 points. Let's start the Lend-Lease of 720. Send that to Menjiang as well. And finally to Qing, China. That is their fascist name as well when they break free from Japan. But I guess this works for non-aligned as well. Let's begin our invasion of Finland. And Finland has capitulated. That was fairly quick. Let's take all states in the turn and reassign to the Swedish border. I don't think this supply is going to be good enough, so we're going to have to leave 3 armies. Let's make a new army group for them to fall back. And we'll remerge once we are finished in Sweden. So for now, let's get this army group here. Attack from the north, distract their troops basically from our attack in the south. And let's keep going. I think... Uh-oh. No. I think I accidentally created another collaboration government. Who did I create this time? German Libya. Well, you win some, you lose some, you know what I'm saying? It is now time to justify on Norway. Our war goal justification is complete on Sweden. Let's begin our attack immediately. Also, we can invite Lithuania to the faction. Let's just do that and make it a done deal in the Baltics. Sweden has just capitulated, and we have just taken all of their states. Let's remerge our army groups together into one full army group with 5 armies in it, and set up on the Norwegian border. We're going to be going all in on this final war here, getting the full might of our ground forces, and we'll bring our whole air force as well. This airport looks like it should support our air operations. Perfect capacity. Let's set our navy to block in the Norwegian navy so they don't get any annoying convoy raiding on us. Don't need to be guarding these regions. And we'll move out to Denmark so we can get full coverage. It is now time to annex Yunnan. Our justification on Norway is complete. Let's declare war. And Norway has capitulated. Let's take all of their states. And we're finished with both the war with Norway and with this episode. This concludes the first part of our 3-part series on each of the monarchist majors in Europe. And our text is running through some of the Baltic nations. We're just such a large empire, we need the largest text in the world to label ourselves on the Hearts of Iron 4 map. But if you did enjoy this episode, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you so care to. At this point, we can really take out any country in the world. And I know we didn't finish up annexing a lot of our puppets. We still have a few puppets here and there around the world. Some puppets that I did not mean to create. And we could do that. It just is going to be a little bit more of a time sink. And at some point, we have to get on to Austria-Hungary, which is going to be part 2 in our 3-part series. So be sure to watch for Austro-Hungarian videos in which we will reform the Austro-Hungarian Empire. As I mentioned earlier, this could very easily turn into a world conquest, but I think this is a good sort of symbolic place to end, with us owning almost all of Europe and being the main controller, or at least the most powerful nation in every continent on the world. If we take a look, we are the only actual major left. All of these other majors became majors after we started messing about in the world. But all of the other 6 majors that were majors at the beginning of the game, which I believe is Italy, France, United Kingdom, Soviet Union, Japan, and the United States. But I hope you did enjoy, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.